medical doctor. I would have expected this has not happened anywhere. These are my original proposals, and that would be satisfied that it has not been done in any other country. I would be satisfied with that answer. Yeah. But because once you know, we must be able to respect each other's professions. I cannot. If it's an economic question, I'll ask you. If it's a medical question, I'm the expert on that. I'll be able to advise you. So I was asking, just as a layman, where has this happened? These proposals you are coming up with, they look brilliant, but where are they coming from? Are they your original, or you've copied them from somewhere else? That's the question.
Thank you. So, Honorable Ndindi. Yeah, I think the point raised by the Honorable Kainan is valid, that you are responding to the committee. The questions are not for the individual members who asked them. So please desist from responding in a manner like you are trying to, to respond to the questioner. Let your feedback be for the benefit of the entire sitting and the entire committee. Thank you. You can proceed.
Yeah, and I'm well guided. It was just the atmosphere that was there before, and I'll try as much as possible to be objective. But I also request you that even in the asking of the questions, we also be objective. Honorable Vice Chair, these are my original proposals, but there are other countries that have done something about oil prices. Many of them, I just highlight a few. A country like Zambia, they have done something around VAT, and others. However, I have only read that qualitatively. The reasoning for this Honorable Pukose and Chair is that the proposals where you may need some evidence-based, it is a place where you may not be able to quantify. Now, my proposals are quantifiable because it's only purely about money. It is either money, forfeiting money, or spending money. And that is the reasoning, members, that I didn't find it fit to borrow these proposals from any other country, maybe piecemeal, but not holistic. Yes, they are my original ideas. On the 7 shillings, as far as I'm concerned as a member of parliament, there is no securitization that has happened. Point being, I have asked for these details myself in terms of documents. And as we all say, parliament is a house of records. I have done that as a member of parliament to seek for the details of securitization. I would actually request, if this committee has any document on securitization, they actually share with Kenyans. However, I have gone further because I knew this may come up. I have actually also written to the clerk of the National Assembly in terms of reducing excise tax and duty by Kenya shilling 7. So if there is a handicap in terms of these 7 shillings, there is a fallback position.
Yes, Ndindi, you have been doing very well. Since you came, I think you did. But now, to the extent that you are suggesting that that securitization does not exist, I think you have moved from a factual appearance before us to a political side. We are sliding to a political side where now you want to start doing politics. I want to persuade you that you continue the same stretch you started, where you are focusing on the facts and the details of how we can help the oil crisis. If you suggest that there has been no securitization in the country, you know that is politics, my friend. So I think, please come back to the stretch of presentation you have been doing, where you have been giving us facts on how we can resolve this crisis. Please come back.
Honorable Chair, the thing is actually important. If, for example, today I purport that the country has allocated 1 trillion Kenya shillings to the education sector, I'll come to the budget and pull the allocation. Honorable Chair, with all due respect, the issue of securitization, I have done so So I'm not even purporting. I have asked Parliament to give me any document there is about securitization. There is none. However, even if we have to jump that bump, the RMLF is 25 shillings. I'm proposing for a cut of 7. Assuming we'll get the documents of securitization, there is still 18 shillings remaining in the RMLF. So that's one arena. The other arena which I have actually done so by writing to the clerk is that we can also explore excise duty. So that if RMLF has been hedged somewhere or used as collateral, then there is a fallback in terms of excise. There was the issue of Honorable Chair of the Kenya shillings 10. And to use your words, because Chair, allow me also, because talking is just not listening, is also feeling. The Chair said, and actually to use his words, don't you understand that the Kenya shillings 10 that was talked about in Nairobi, there is an extra 10 shillings that was talked about in Mombasa? Honorable Chair, Honorable Pukose, through the question you asked, I understand fully and completely. Subsidies are given monthly. That is why money is provisioned in the monthly basis. So when I start and say today that the diesel prices will be lower by 10 shillings next month, the base is always before the subsidy. And that is why I say that it was not clear whether it was additional. I have, Chairman, before appearing here, I have gone through the communications, both in Nairobi as it was made and in Mombasa by government. I never found the word additional. So if it's 10 shillings is still there as we talk, because subsidy is given monthly. It's not a law that we make that we have brought down the fuel by 10 shillings. It is money that is provisioned every month from the Fuel Stabilization Fund. So I hope you are on the same page. Whether it is additional or we are persisting with the current 10, only the government can clarify. Honorable Nyakundi, why I never chose to do it as a bill? Precisely because it was not my choice. I wrote to Parliament, Parliament chose this route, and I'm happy with it because probably it's shorter. Because as a bill, you know, it will be a money bill. I'll still come back here. And I know the kind of program you have around this time. Honestly, as the budget committee, I don't think you'd have time for money bills at the current timelines. So I would then have to appear before this committee after June. But that was not my decision. I wrote my proposals to Parliament. It is Parliament that chooses the most efficient path. The issue of 7 shillings RMLF, the same answer that I gave. In terms of confidential fund, Honorable Nyakudi, maybe you had pre-programmed the question to ask me before I presented.
Ndindi, the question about that matter was I overruled it. I ruled it. So I don't ignore. Don't comment about it unless you have something on it on your own production.
No, I was just saying maybe he had pre-programmed the question to ask me before even I came. Maybe that's why he asked. I never mentioned that word anywhere, okay. But it could be part of my proposals.
So, thank you. So, members, I think we don't need to take a lot of time. I think we have had a very good conversation. I think I want to make my final submissions. Matia and Honorable Ruth. Honorable Ruth, let's start with you.
Thank you very much, and I would like to say, through the chair, to say that it's very commendable that you are actually looking for a solution for in a situation that is actually really affecting us as Kenyans. But on the 7%, on the 7 shillings levy, I am of the opinion that yes, we do use it for road maintenance, and I don't know whether it's not there or it's there. But I was thinking of something that I would have wanted you to tackle. How about on the Petroleum Development Levy Fund? Because I think that Petroleum Levy Fund is one that actually we should consider even more than how we want to consider this reduction of the 7 shillings of the fuel maintenance levy, because that one has been there and is one that actually has not been used, and I don't know how it's being used, and I think it's something that we need to tackle. The Petroleum Development Levy Fund, I think is one you should consider. I would also want to talk a bit more of the G2G, because as it is, and I'm not saying that I'm against anybody, I hope I'm just saying what my mind is that when we have a fixed price like we do on the G2G, is actually making us have a higher rate than if we, and you know, the fuel prices actually fluctuate. Yeah, and really, when we had the OTS, in the OTS and open tender system, we are able to determine, and sometimes mostly even lower prices for ourselves. So I think that some of those ones, including in what you're saying, might help us more than the VAT that you'd want us to reduce so much, because, you know, at the moment, VAT is a very thorny issue. So maybe those are some of the things on that your presentation. But I must say that much as you're being bashed left and right somewhere or the other, but the fact that you're courageous enough to see that we could get a solution in Kenya is commendable. Thank you.
But as we are dealing with this petroleum issue, the disruption, I mean, the pricing is the end result of the disruption of what we are getting. But listening to many analysts, the biggest problem is not actually the barrel. It is what contributes the components. During the war, we are calling it the Russian and Ukraine. It is the positioning of the map. So if you look at the Strait of Hormuz and all where this war is affecting, it has a heavier component in terms of pricing. And we might not, by the way, we might not solve this problem as long as this war is going on or this problem is going on. Number two, it's about the insurance of the ship. Actually, one of the reasons why we have high prices of petrol or petroleum products, it is not about the dollar barrel. It is the insurance that has been put, because this is about sinking of the ship and all those kind of things. So even as we look for solutions, I think I want to go back to what Honorable Bukosa asked you to benchmark, so that we have a better way of looking at it, even if we might not get the solution in good time. Thank you.
Oil away from paraffin, kerosene. Have you thought about reducing these levies on the electricity? Yeah, because as we talk about diesel, petrol, the cost of electricity is also high. And I'm tempted to believe that you are not talking about it because you are personally a beneficiary of the output from Kenya Power. Thank you.
Members, I think let Ndindi respond to those questions, then I'll make the final submission.
About this proposal is a good proposal, but I wanted to hear from our good friend, Honorable Ndindi Nyoro. If we reduce these 7 shillings, already we have some contractors who are undertaking the project in the constituencies. What will happen to those projects? Will those projects stop or stall? Because you have told us that these projects can be done by domestically funded sector, but even those domestically funded sector, we have already some commitment to the contractors. What will happen to the currently committed project? Will they continue, or they will be stored for maybe to be funded in the future? Thank you, Chairman.
Yes, Ndindi, you can respond.
Let me start with my sister, Honorable Ruth. I agree with you 100%, Honorable Ruth, and thank you very much for those kind words. They are very scarce nowadays from people like you and my colleagues. So when I hear one, it's an outlier.
Honorable Ndindi. What do you mean? The political space has been taken over by opposition. Those united opposition, where you belong. So what do you mean you are you not part of that team that is very vicious?
What I mean, Chair, is that when I'm doing these kind of things, I am happy Kenyans are very encouraging. I'm receiving very many messages of encouragement, but to hear some from my colleagues are very rare. And that's why I want to recognize Honorable Ruth for that. And also other members who have commended me privately, like Honorable Naisura.
Chairman, please don't burn our house. Honorable Ndindi, please don't burn our house. Don't burn our house.
Proceed. And I'll be replying to your message even later, Honorable Naisura. So the one for 7 shillings, I agree with you, Honorable Ruth. We need money for road maintenance, and the reason I say that, or in my submission, the budget is in threefold, almost equivalent. There is externally funded, we may not do there much, but there is a domestically funded budget for roads. We can cut off the 7, but then we'll put it through the other route. That's one. In terms of PDL, PDL is where the fuel stabilization money comes from. So we are still actually invoking it. Because if you look in my proposals, I have also proposing we get an extra 3.5 billion shillings to subsidize diesel further after these measures, so that diesel will be cheaper. So that is also in part of the proposal, but we can go further through your guidance. In terms of G2G, I may not answer here because it can be, but because you asked if the chair permits, I can go ahead. G2G, I share your opinions that we should open up the field. G2G makes our fuel more expensive.
Honorable Ndindi,
yes.
I don't know whether I need to guide because your appearance with this committee is purely for the sake of looking at the revenue and expenditure side of the estimate. The policy issues to do with GTG, because those are policies that were taken elsewhere, in which this committee has actually no mandate. So I would like to urge you to just restrict your submissions and responses to the revenue and the expenditure aspects of your recommendations.
I'm guided, but it's only that it came up, but I'll shelve it to the right place.
I think I'll urge my sister Ruth to direct that question to the right section, right department, maybe Department of Energy, Committee of Energy. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. And before I go to the next one, thank you very much, Honorable Ruth. At least I know I have one supporter in the floor. Honorable Jamatia.
You're forgetting Naisura also.
Naisura is obvious. Honorable Jamatia, the solution that you are giving is surprising. As I have said what I wanted to say, the jokes we used to have back then, because this is a very serious matter. We'll joke over the break time. In terms of Honorable Jamatia's question, pricing of fuel in Kenya is a component of majorly 2 things. One is the landing cost. The second is taxes and levies. And actually the third is margins, profit margins for importers and marketers. If you take in, for example, super, landing cost, we are talking about 117 shillings. Taxes and levies, 74 shillings. Margins is around 17 shillings. The other ones are small levies. Now, in a non-oil producing country, you can deal with 2 things. Some are talking about one is static. It's not. You can deal with the landing cost even if you are a non-oil producing country. And you can deal with the landing cost based on where are you sourcing the oil and which model are you using to source the oil. That is why if you look at the landing cost of the Kenyan fuel, it is higher than the other regional economies. So that's one. Because the way we are sourcing it makes our landing cost more expensive.
of order.
The second thing is taxes and levies.
Yes, yes. Point of order by Honorable Jamatia.
Honorable Ndindi, we are here because of disruption caused by the war. And one of the biggest hindrance is insurance. So that is why, even if you want to deal with the landing, that one I'm okay. But the insurance on the shipping and the ship itself is what has caused this problem. So we are looking at, and look at the distance, and look at the situation that comes with it, so that we will look at the solution by not only looking at what we have, but also the worldview.
For that clarification, what I meant, Honorable, is that there is a lot we can do in terms of landing cost, sourcing cheaply. There is a lot we can do in terms of taxes and levies, and there is also definitely something we can do about lowering the margins of the people involved. However, on the insurance and disruption is already embedded in the current oil prices globally. It is already internalized. The reason why the barrel of oil has moved from $60 per barrel to closer to $100 per barrel is because of internalizing those disruptions and costs associated. That maybe ship somewhere may have to travel for a longer distance. That's already embedded. And that's why the prices of oil are higher. So these are not extra costs over and above the global oil prices. They are already embedded in the current oil prices as we see them. Honorable Aseka talked about levies in terms of electricity. I actually hope that was a joke, but what happens, Honorable Aseka, because you are my friend, there are shares you bought for Equity Bank when I was chairman of budget. You are never called when Equity Bank is increasing our interest rates for the loans we take. That is the nature of our stock market here in Kenya. That minority shareholders, you are spectators. I am neither a director nor nothing. And also I call upon all of us here as members of parliament, let's love our country. Instead of making money and hiding it in Dubai and other havens, let us invest in companies here in Kenya without hiding our identities and the nominee accounts. And I read that talk. We inspire our capital markets by showing Kenyans that we have faith in our country. We may not have faith in the government, but we cannot lose faith in our country.
Chair. Our Chair Emeritus, you support the VAT on electricity. You support electricity on levies, EPRA levies. You support forex levies. You support delivery levies, inflation levies on electricity, but you don't support those levies on oil. Declare your interest.
Okay. Chairman, Honorable Ndindi, let me say something. Maybe just to reframe this question the way I understood it. I believe and I'm persuaded that the reason why you are here is to look for solutions so that Kenyans can lower their cost of living. That is one. You want Kenyans to have affordable fuel. So would you not want Kenyans to also have affordable electricity? Yeah. Why do you want Kenyans only to enjoy cheaper fuel but not cheaper electricity? This is something that you would consider, given that the prices of electricity is going up. Would you also try to give us solutions for that? Thank you. You can now respond.
Chairman, to answer it with the same words that you asked, I am glad that you have given me so much responsibilities as members of parliament that I can deal with all the matters that affect all our constituencies. I am one of the 290 members of parliament, and I am glad I'll do even the one for electricity if none of the members can do it. However, the way I got the question from Honorable Aseka was actually a banter in terms of, it is out in the public domain, I have some shares in Kenya Power. It is in that length that he asked. It's not actually about electricity. It's my being a shareholder in Kenya Power. And I threw it back to him because he's also very intelligent. Now that you have shares in Equity Bank and they increase our interest rates, do they consult you, Honorable Aseka? Secondly, I was just trying to say that minority shareholders, and I am proudly one in Kenyan companies, is that we do our research and buy shares. but we don't do that as majority stake shareholders, where you have to be involved in the running of the company. And I want to say this for avoidance of doubt. I am very proud to be part and parcel of our capital markets. Not just Equity Bank, even other listed companies in our NSC. So that all of us as leaders should know that our economy needs whatever small resources that we have. Instead of hiding our money in tax havens in Dubai and elsewhere, we grow our own capital markets. And we don't hide our names at our nominee accounts. We actually buy through our names. I am proudly so. However, on the part of electricity, I think just like any other Kenyan and as a legislature, it makes all the sense. However, Chairman, just 1 minute. I would seek that members actually take time so that we don't become superficial. And it's not in bad faith. I'm just trying to look for the solution. In terms of electricity pricing, we need to hit the nail at the head. The current situation of Kenya, the electricity prices are higher in Kenya than most in the region based on one thing. And that one thing is called cost of production. You have Kenyan producing electricity at a third of what some of the IPPs are paid. IPPs are independent power producers. And as you all know here, these are politically connected individuals who own these companies. So Kenyans are made to pay a tax for higher tax production of electricity just because we are feeding into some political system. So if you look at the segmentation of what we end up paying, after Kenya Power collects the money, the profit margin of the not the profit margin, out of 100 shillings, their revenue could be around 20%. Most of the money goes to producers. If we actually need to handle this issue head on, we must deal with the issue of production.
Thank you.
Honorable John Paul, lastly.
Honorable Ndindi, I think we can summarize.
Honorable John Paul.
Thank you.
Chairman, point of order. The question which is being raised is that area of electricity as a need also, that is what Honorable Aseka is raising. Do you see it as a need to have a reduction in prices of electricity, or you are only seeing the need to reduce fuel and not electricity?
I think Honorable Ndindi, that matter has been answered comprehensively. I want to propose that you respond to the question by Honorable John Paul, then I make my final submissions, then we close.
Thank you. I would request you just half a minute on Honorable Secretary General's question. I see the need of electricity. I have answered it exhaustively. Maybe that is the pitfall of having premeditated questions, which were made before I came, so that we have to ask them even when they are answered.
Honorable Ndindi, again.
That is very unfair.
That is very derogatory because this is Parliament. And I believe that Kenyans have elected their representatives to come to Parliament and they are here to represent their members. So there's nobody who's been sent here by any other force other than their voters. So I think that one, I believe you've gone out of the stretch. So members, can we agree that this is enough, that we've done enough sufficient submission? Oh, sorry. Lydia, I think we give you less than a minute so that you can close.
Thank you very much. Honorable John, 7 shillings. We need the roads.
Honorable Ndindi, please finish. Just proceed.
On the contractors,
Okay, then I'll give you time. I'll give you some time later. Let him respond to that question. Okay, Honorable Kenan, ask your question. Please use the microphone.
What we have in this procedure, you may not see the need today. The answer here might be of evidential value at a date and time when you don't even anticipate, because this is a house of rules. So mine is purely procedural. If in your wisdom, as the chair, and you enjoy delegated authority, like that of the speaker. You have had my good friend imputing an improper motive on the member of Tongarani. And superficially, you have asked my brother here to desist from that route. What I expected you to do at this juncture is for the withdrawal and expansion of that particular statement from the proceedings of the committee. Otherwise, you are our chair.
Thank you. Honorable Kenan, you know the speaker does not have eyes. The speaker does not see. So I agree with you.
And persistently to use the word premeditate. Didn't even go to school. We can't think.
Listen.
We sit here to premeditate.
Honorable Chikati, I agree with Honorable Kenan that I have noted his eyes on that particular pronouncement by the Honorable Ndindi. Honorable Ndindi, please, on that aspect, could you kindly withdraw?
Honorable Chair, when I came, Honorable Nyakudi asked the wrong question for my presentation. The question of electricity has been asked by 4 members, and I have actually answered. And therefore, it leaves me with no other alternative than to think, as I had been briefed before by some of you, that there were questions premeditated for me. And therefore, I can't withdraw an obvious thing.
Honorable Ndindi, you know that is parliamentary. And that would cause us to disrupt this sitting, which we really need to close in a way that it was started. So if you insist on, using unparliamentary language on your colleagues, respective colleagues, because these are members, I want to again persuade you to at least give his elector some respect by, removing the insinuation that he was given questions to come and ask you. I don't think that is the right position. Please withdraw that one, then we proceed.
For the respect, let me paraphrase. Honorable Chikati, I had answered the question. And therefore, I will withdraw the previous assertion.
Thank you. Thank you. Now you can finish you can respond to the question by Honorable John Paul.
Honorable John Paul was about 7 shillings, which I've also answered, about having contractors on the roads. I have, and I want to repeat here again and again, there is no document anywhere in Parliament about securitization. So we read it on news just the same way other members read it. Secondly, RMLF is 25 shillings. I'm proposing 7. There is still an 18 shillings remaining. So there is a lot of room. Very lastly, Chair, because I think these are my closing remarks, I want to thank you very much for this opportunity to have appeared before the Budget and Appropriations Committee. And also, I want to also to underline that you are all colleagues and I respect every one of you. And even in the start of this discussion, I was just trying to answer the questions based on the temperatures that had been thrown to me. But I'm glad that at the end of the day, we have been able to listen to each other and to hear my objective proposals. I request you, members, I know many times we are divided politically based on where we lean, but I want to request you, this issue of fuel is not just affecting the people of Kiharu. It is representing the people of the entire country. The issue is about the trade-off. We let the prices go up, they spiral, they affect the economy, or we do something about it and arrest the cost of living going forward. I beseech all of us that we stand on the side of Kenyans. We look for solutions to lower fuel prices because it is possible and it is still in our purview. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Just to say that the prices is not affecting the people of Kiharu. Are you aware that even these prices is not affecting the Republic of Kenya only, but it is the whole world?
Thank you. Honorable Ndindi, I think that is how can I say? So what I wanted to say, Honorable Ndindi, is that I have looked at your proposal to us globally in terms of the effects it will have on the revenues, projected revenues. And I have seen that if we do implement what we have proposed, then we have to take a haircut of about 82.4 billion annually. And in 6 months, we have to take about 41.2 billion. This would mean about 2.8% of our projected revenue that we are going to lose. You have been the chairman of budget and you know the process of coming up with these estimates, which actually starts very far from the sector meetings, sector working groups, and etc. And to this extent, I want to tell you, because we've been going through the BPS and all this, I want to tell you that there is really no place for us to cut. Even if we try to cut, we will not find anywhere to cut. We have cut our development allocation by about 100 billion. So from where you sit as the former chairman of budget, where would you propose that we cut? Because if we are to do this, if we are to engage in this process, we are to implement your proposal, these losses, we'll have to get them from somewhere. The other alternative we have is to affect our fiscal deficit, which, as you know, also is quite steep. So I wanted to just, as you finalize, what do you want us to do? What do you think should work, so that you advise the committee to see what we can do? Because sincerely speak to you and tell you that cut 100 billion off the budget, we were not able to do it at all. Some of the development programs that are also happening in your constituency and all the parts of the country.
I was actually to request the clerk to assign for me one person from the Parliamentary Budget Office so that we aggregate the proposals that I have. I actually have proposals that can save the expenditure side of 100 billion shillings. One area that I'm targeting is that we have to decimate completely, almost completely, foreign travel. And foreign travel here, I mean for everyone. As members of parliament leading the way, the executive and the judiciary. Second is that desperate times like this calls for all of us to have haircuts. And therefore, Honorable Chair, it will not be proper for me to name the other two without saying that the same constituents being affected by oil are the same that we serve. So CDF also has to sit around 2 billion shillings. The other thing, Honorable Chair, is something called O&M. And I don't want to sensationalize this meeting, but I know as much as you know. As the media has covered, and I have actually gone and tabulated, there are offices that are getting inordinately higher budget than previously. Our leaders, the top offices, namely State House, has to also lead the way. The last one, where we can get flesh, I mean fat without even cutting the flesh, leave around the bone. Chairman, as I look at you direct in your eyes, because you are brothers, you know areas in the budget that has gotten increment of over 25% this financial year alone. And because I don't want to sensationalize, I'll hand over to you specifics. I have actually tabulated over 100 billion Kenya shillings we can save out of the expenditure side. And you know what I'm saying. But if you want me to go direct and name it here, I'll do that.
Honorable Ndindi Nyoro, thank you very much for your submissions. I will await I will designate budget office to sit down with you to see if those proposals you are making would make sense to this committee. Otherwise, I think members, you listen to Ndindi Nyoro, I think the best thing now we'll do as the committee is to retreat back and look at those proposals and then maybe vote on them and see which ones we can carry the day. With members of budget committee on any proposal that you have. Thank you. The meeting is at. I will update you guys. Okay. Yeah. Are we coming back? No. Let's go for it.